1992. 1992 is one of my favourite all-time years, especially in the heavyweight division. Yeah, only three heavyweight title fights happened that year, but it is absolutely 100% one of my favourite years. You know, we'll start off. Nothing really happened early on in the year. On May the 15th, 1992, at the Trump Taj Mahal, do apologise, in Atlantic City, Michael Moorer, the former WBO light heavyweight champion, took on Bert Cooper, who the previous year had given Evander Holyfield a hell of a fight. They met for the vacant WBO title that Merciless Ray Mercer had recently vacated. Man, if you've never seen this fight, what a fucking fight. These two just went at it from start to finish. The opening round, Bert Cooper dropped Moorer. He trapped him on the ropes, dropped him with a straight right. Moorer went down like a sack of shit, against the ropes. His arm was caught in the ropes. He looked fucked. It didn't look like it was going to go much further. He got up. He did survive that knockdown. And he dropped Cooper with a right hook later in the round. And Cooper, he got up, but he looked absolutely fucked. And this fight, the old cliche, they say, this fight could have been held in a phone box. This one absolutely could. They were basically forehead to forehead for most of the fight, just swinging hooks and uppercuts at each other, knocking lumps out of each other. Third round, Cooper drops Michael Moorer again with a right hand. Moorer gets up. He spent most of the fight against the ropes, did Moorer, with Cooper just plugging away with hooks and uppercuts. And Moorer was fighting quite effectively back. He'd take the punishment, he'd cover up, and then he'd just launch left uppercuts and right hooks back at Cooper. And the end came in round 5. It was a right uppercut, straight left that dropped Cooper. He went straight down, bang. And the referee, he got up to his feet. Bert Cooper got to his feet, but he'd had enough. He was finished by then. And Michael Moorer won the fight, technical knockout in the 5th. Like I say, if you've never seen this fight, I can't do it justice with just talking about it. You've got to go and see it. Michael Moorer, Bert Cooper for 1992, vacant WBO heavyweight title. Fantastic fight. So Michael Moorer was the new WBO heavyweight champion. That wouldn't last long. Moorer would vacate the title pretty much shortly afterwards. Or certainly by the end of the year, it was definitely vacated. As I said in the previous videos, at this point the WBO wasn't considered a world title. It wasn't a recognised world title, especially in America. Over here in Europe, it was very it was recognised. We had Chris Eubank and Nigel Benn as WBO champions, for example, long reigning WBO champions, super middleweight and middleweight, and they were proud to be the champions. It was recognised more over here, like I say, in Europe and places like that. But in America, and the Ring magazine didn't recognise it as a legitimate world title, so a lot of Americans didn't really want it, but they take it, I suppose, as a stepping stone. So that's how that went. Now the following months, June the 19th, 1992, Caesars Palace, Las Vegas, Evander Holyfield would make the next defence of his undisputed heavyweight title. It's Larry Holmes. Now, this fight was billed Clash of the Champions. I actually have a poster of this fight in my boxing memorabilia collection. It's one of my favourite possessions because it was the first Christmas present my wife got me. So it's got a special place in my heart. Larry Holmes, obviously former world heavyweight champion, won the vacant WBC title in 1978 in that classic encounter with Bert Cooper. Beat Muhammad Ali, who was a shell of himself. Made loads of defences against. Throughout the 80s, he was the first half of the 80s. Evander Holyfield, I do apologise. Larry Holmes was the top man until he lost the title to Michael Spinks. He retired. He came back. Got eaten alive by Mike Tyson. Retired. Came back, and he was 42 at this point, which is funny because again that's my age, and back then they were talking about him like he was an old man. He put up a good fight in this fight. He gave there was little flashes of brilliance. His jab, he was landing some good right hands, but overall he was totally outworked by Holyfield. And Holyfield took a unanimous decision. He took scores twice, 116, 112, and one of 117, 111. Yeah, that's pretty accurate. Like I say, Holmes, they've both got the same letters with their surname, so you have to apologise, mate. And I've only just woken up as well, folks, so I do apologise if I seem a bit out of it, but that's what happens when you're a night worker. So the only thing of note that really happened was an accidental elbow from Larry Holmes opened up a cut. I believe I've got my notes here. Yeah, above Holyfield's right eye, and yeah, it was quite a nasty cut as well. But yeah, it was what it was. Holyfield got a lot of stick after this one because he'd had a hard fight with George Foreman, who was 42 the previous year, and here he was with seemingly struggling. He won a wide decision, but a lot of the American press were very, very harsh on Holyfield at this point. They felt that he should have been beating a 42-year-old veteran, former heavyweight champion with ease. But it didn't happen. I mean, Larry Holmes is a legend. He's one of my favourite heavyweights of all time. And yes, he wasn't what he once was at this point, but he was still decent enough. I mean, he'd beaten Ray Mercer to get this opportunity. Totally outboxed him. And but of course, then the consensus was that Ray Mercer wasn't that good. I thought until recently that it was only now that boxing fans are toxic and criticise everything, but it's always been the case. It's always been the case. You think back when I was growing up. Okay, there was no social media, but people in the press, fans in general, they would flip flop all the time about boxers and their style of fighting or whatever. It's just more prominent now because everybody's got a voice on social media, and the toxicity is there. Anyway, that's a video for another time. Now, the final fight, title fight of 1992, November the 13th, Thomas and Mack Centre, Riddick Bowe took the undisputed title from Evander Holyfield in one of the greatest fights, heavyweight fights I have ever seen. I am so pleased I got to see it as a child. A friend of mine, he had to record it for us, and we got the videotape. And my cousin and I watched it together on the Sunday afternoon. It's still up there. I can watch this fight over and over again. I have watched it over and over again. Again, I can't do this fight justice. I can't. Me talking about this, it's not going to do it justice. You have to go and see it. If you've never seen the fight before, you need to go and see it. It is an absolutely blinding, classic heavyweight tussle. Both guys from the opening bell. Holyfield, obviously the smaller man. Riddick Bowe was a lot bigger. Riddick Bowe was Olympic silver medalist. He took Olympic silver at the 88 Games in Seoul, South Korea, losing to Lennox Lewis in the gold medal match. And here, he was big. I think he was about 6'7", 6'8". He was in great shape at this point. He'd beaten Pierre, I think it was Kutsa, the South African, to earn this shot in an eliminator. And yeah, these guys just fucking went for it. I mean, Holyfield, he wasn't frightened to come forward against the bigger, heavier man. He was landing endless shots, hooks, uppercuts, straight rights that were troubling Bowe. And then Bowe would just absorb them, and he'd fight back, and he'd blast Holyfield with uppercuts on the inside. He'd keep him at bay with his long jab. He'd drive the straight right over the top. It was just a real back and forth war. They really, really went for it. Excuse me, if you see me looking down, I'm looking at my notes. I make my notes because my brain goes fucking, it just blanks. I know what I'm talking about, believe it or not. But my mind goes blank, and I think, what I'm talking about. So I just glanced down. I've got little notes here. But yeah, they were just exchanging all the way. It was absolutely fantastic. In round 10, excuse me. Excuse me, sorry about this. Yeah, was it round 10? Yes, of course it was, round 10. One round of the year. It was a right uppercut that started all the trouble. And Holyfield was all at sea. It looked like it was going to be over. Bowe just went for the kill. He was landing endless punches. Until the last minute, when suddenly Holyfield came back to life and started smashing away Bowe, straight right hands, left hooks, and Bowe was hurt a couple of times in that round. You know, absolutely, yeah. It was just one. It quite rightly won round of the year Ring Magazine awards, and this whole fight won fight of the year, of course. And it was just amazing to see, especially when you've never seen it before. Just it looked like Holyfield was finished. He was on his way out. The referee was going to jump in, and then suddenly he's got Riddick Bowe backing up and hurt. Fucking fantastic fight, fantastic round. 11th round, Bowe dropped Holyfield. He trapped him against the ropes and caught him with a cuffing right hand. Sent Holyfield down to his knees. Holyfield got up, but he was fucked. His eyes were swollen. He'd had enough. But they continued to battle till the final bell at the end of the 12th. And Riddick Bowe took a unanimous decision. 117, 110 twice, and 115, 112. I thought that one was a bit close. I would have gone 117, 110, maybe 118, 109. But either way, classic fight. Absolutely classic fight. You've got to go and watch it. If you've never seen it, go and watch it, man. What a way to end the year. Fucking fantastic. As I said, the critics all came out. They said it was over for Holyfield. Holyfield had in their opinion, a pretty lackluster title reign, as I said before. Struggled with struggled with Foreman, or went the distance with Foreman. Had a hard fight with Foreman, who was seen as a has-been and washed up. Struggled with Bert Cooper, who was a late replacement, and then went the distance with and was cut by Larry Holmes, and then he's just been beaten by the bigger, younger man. So there you go. Evander Holyfield loses the WBA, WBC, and IBF titles to Riddick Bowe. Now Bowe wouldn't be unified champion for long. I think it was about a month later. In an infamous moment, Riddick Bowe, seemingly to avoid fighting his mandatory, the WBC mandatory, who was Lennox Lewis, his old rival from the Olympics in '88. Bowe took the WBC title, vacated it, and dropped it in a bin, and that was quite an iconic thing, controversial thing at the time. And the WBC then proceeded on December the 14th, 1992, to award the vacant WBC title to Lennox Lewis, making Lennox Lewis the first British heavyweight champion since Bob Fitzsimmons, way back when. So there you go. That's how we end 1992. Like I say, it's one of my favourite years. Two of my favourite heavyweight title fights of all time. Moorer against Cooper. Bowe Holyfield won. Absolutely brilliant. So we end the year of 1992. I think the WBO title was vacant. Riddick Bowe had the WBA and IBF belts. Lennox Lewis had been awarded the WBC title. So we'll see what 1993 brings next time. Thank you very much for watching this. I do apologise for my patchy fucking brain, but as I said, I'm a night worker. I've not long woken up for work. I was in the moment, I was in the mood, I was going to do this video, so I've done it now. I'll speak to you next time, folks. I hope you're all well. Take care of yourselves, and I appreciate you all.